Well, darling, there's only one God. Darling, there's only.
Welcome to the Dirty Bag Podcast. I'm your host, Cookie. As always, thank you for joining me today. You could be anywhere, listening to anything, scrolling any platform. You're taking time out to either listen or watch me. Again, if you have not already, like, subscribe, leave a comment on YouTube, come see my face. I changed, first of all. I didn't switch it up a little bit, y'all. We got a little cinnamon. I'm not Cookie today. I'm cinnamon. Okay? It's getting a little hot in Texas. You know, I know this is the land of like the big pageant hair. One thing I love about Dallas, well, being in Texas in general, is I can do them big, just dramatic beauty supply wigs. And I can get away with it because, you know, everything's bigger in Texas. But God, it gets so hot and you got to cool off. Now, speaking of hair, before I get started, God is putting the spirit of girl, learn how to do your own box braids in my spirit. So the reason I'm wearing the hair that I'm wearing today, I had an appointment to get some braids. I've talked about it before. I struggle with, you know, people pricing according to the market, not according to their skill level. So you paying damn near a mortgage for some knotless braids, running into scammers, all kinds of stuff. Y'all, I was on my way to get my hair braided. This girl waits till 10 minutes before I show up. And again, she's about 40 minutes away from me to shoot me a text to push me back an hour. So I'm like, you know what? I'm looking like Frederick Douglass. It's giving fresh freed slave, but you know what? It's all right. I'm going to go to Fuel City Tacos, get me a couple, throw them back, sit in the car, maybe shoot some content. I'm like, all right, bet. As long as I can be back in the city by this time, you know, we good. I'll just kill some time, whatever. I want to say a good 30 minutes goes by, and she basically sends me a text saying, hey, you know, my person's taking longer than I thought. I can just refund you your deposit. Y'all, it was, and I'm not going to say I didn't write her a mini paragraph. I did. But at this point, for what y'all charge out in these streets, for all of these credentials, for this long laundry list of requirements for our hair, at the very least, y'all got to be on time, because you know damn well we don't show up on time, or 15 minutes, you either going to charge us out the ass or you going to cancel us altogether. It is time that hairstylists hold themselves to the same standards that they hold clients to. Y'all can't be out here just super trifling with it, especially not when it's money out there, and especially when we live in an age where, you know, repeat business, like people's braids are your walking business card or whatever style it is. It was raggedy. And when I basically, you know, expressed my frustration, like, you know, go ahead and send me the deposit back. When I tell y'all that girl didn't say shit, she left me on all kinds of red. Scripture red. Class assignment red. She didn't give two shits. So whatever. So there's that. So I'm rocking me a little ginger. I'm ginger cookie, gingerbread cookie. So y'all, we're getting close to closing out season 2. What's so crazy about podcasting is when you plan to do something, but things continue to happen, and you tend to, if you still feel inspired, or there's stories that have to be told, you can't quite just shut the factory down. We should have wrapped this season up a minute ago. I ain't gonna even hold y'all at all. I'm not gonna hold you. But I've done a lot of reflecting about how I've watched myself change with this podcast, and kind of some pivotal moments. And y'all know I had this huge thing with season 2, right? Like, all right, we was sad last year. We was just coming out the crib. Some of us was still on lockdown. Now we want to laugh. We want to celebrate. We did so much of that, right? It was so many wins in so many different areas. But what I also learned is that growth and healing it's not a destination. It is a journey. And you can't force just a full season of joy. You're going to have those growing pains. You're still going to have some moments. I've had some moments that have brought me back to season 1. Like, oh, we not done with that, sis. We not. Remember that one thing that threw you off where you couldn't record for damn near a month? Well, guess what? It's then popped back up. Just to see how you gonna handle this shit. So a lot of these episodes really tie into my, well, of course, it's all my real life, but it brings me back to really important moments, triggering moments, things that I need continuous work on. So I'm like, man, it's never just a podcast if you do this shit right. It's really a transformative process. It just so happens that you're using storytelling to do it. One of the things I look back on with season one is that we were just so raw. Like and a huge part of that is because I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I was snatching all these introverted friends to come talk. But I also look at it as that like I was going through so much, and I didn't acknowledge until later that I was still very much in the throes of postpartum. We talked about that before in previous episodes, but so much of it just changed who I was. But looking back, it was raw, but those episodes were so beautiful because life was happening. So when life is happening, it gives you content like struggles, trials, tribulations. That's literally the content God that keeps on giving. So I say that to say there are a lot of people, there's podcasts. I pay attention to all the ones that I follow for the most part. And I'll see people keeping chunks of themselves to them. They don't like to share themselves. The one thing I've learned is that when I'm in the moment, when I'm in my feelings about something, when I have an aha moment, I have to take advantage of that because it may never happen again. I may not be that honest again. So when I kid you not, there's times where I've been at home and I'm like, you know what? There's an episode in my heart right now. I didn't plan on recording XYZ. I really wanted this guest on this week, but it was just like, you know what? No, you need to go do that right now. Somebody needs to hear that. But also, it's going to free you. So there's times when I came to this studio, I really didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew me and Tequila had a little quick, little powwow, a little entanglement. I sat with my thoughts, came in this room, hit record, and magic came out. So I say that to say, when y'all had them moments, man, that's a story, and it's part of your journey. And of course, you want to look back on it. And let's just say, because folks been dropping like flies. I don't want nobody to die no time soon. I'm not planning on leaving this earth right now, but my goal is to leave so much behind. As far as my thoughts, my processes, my laughs, what causes my tears, to where my grandchildren don't have to ask, like, tell me about grandma. Girl, grandma was wild. You want to know about grandma? Here's a catalog of thoughts. So I always think beyond, I just need to put out a podcast episode. Sometimes it's like, what am I feeling in this moment? What would I like to remember about what's happening right now? Even if it's uncomfortable. And there's things about me I'm going to have to share in the upcoming season that It ain't me that wants to do it, but it's the purpose that's saying you gotta. But I know I need just a little bit more time to cook. Just a little bit more fucking time. Please. But yes, I look back at some of the best episodes came from the most uncomfortable moments. I can tell y'all, I did an episode once 8 minutes after my car got towed. Baby, one thing about Dallas, they in that tow truck bag. Your car can get towed for, that thing can get towed for being too shiny. Who knows? But I remember it getting towed. I run outside to this dude as he's loading my car. And I'm like, yo, my keys I can move it. Like, please, like, don't do this. And he's like, all right, go get your keys. Y'all, when I turned to go get my keys, this man took off into the sunset with my car. And in that moment, I had so much going on. I knew it was going to cost me some bread to get my car because they really be hitting with the fees in Dallas. But in that moment, it was like, all right, so are you going to let this moment steal you being present? You have a guest this time. They're going to be waiting for you on the other side. So are you just going to cancel this? Because what happens if y'all reschedule and life starts lifing again? That's just the thing. Life is going to always life, but you got to always stick to your shit and be consistent with creating. Now, when it's burnout and you just super tired, yes, it's some folks that honestly work their asses off and they need a moment. This ain't about them. Okay, so yes, when you just when you didn't put in that work, you tired, there's a lot going on, you just can't prioritize it. That's a different conversation, but that ain't what's going on with some of y'all. You half-assing. But sometimes I know people get stuck, and this is me talking to my podcasters right now. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Life is happening around you all the time. Everything ain't got to be 50-50 submissive, dating. Y'all, there's so much more going on in life than these Negroes and these women. Please tell me there is something else in your life, more something meaningful, fruitful happening that you can discuss and share with an audience outside of what's going on between your legs and who you trying to get to take up all your time. I'm just saying, sometimes we miss opportunities trying to stick to the hot topic or what you think is going to get a lot of traction. There's so much more going on in our community than dating, especially with this administration, especially with folks' mental health, especially with you just becoming a different person than who you were last year. Like, those are valuable stories. That is content, bruh. For real. I need y'all to think about that. Whew. Don't waste moments to create, because there's too much going on. There's even little things that you might not think is a podcast episode that happens to you in the grocery store, anywhere. And speaking of which, so I'm getting to the point now where, again, I'm running into, I ain't gonna say a surplus, but a handful of folks that are like, I'm starting a podcast. What do you think? What do you think? What do you do? I said this before, and a lot of podcasters, like successful ones, will tell you that ain't nobody really got it figured out. But of course, make sure you're intentional. You actually have a purpose, and you're not doing it just because you're riding a wave and everybody else is doing it, because you'll fall off quick. You can tell when folks start podcasts because it just seems like the thing to do, and everybody else is doing it, or their friends doing it, or you got a cliquish group of podcasts. You can tell. You can tell. You can tell. But just consider your impact. At this point, yes, I love telling the why behind the what. I love telling beautiful stories of creatives. I love talking about what's going on when it's art imitating life with whatever. Like, I like talking about things, but I also know that I have to give you me. And it's beautiful that y'all can listen to some episodes and be like, that don't sound like the same Cookie from last year. Good. I don't want to. I hope to grow. I better, because I'm not going to be no good to y'all. If I don't grow, I'm going to be doing the same recycled shit all the time. And it's going to get old. See what I'm saying? It's going to get old. But I also think another big thing is like comparing yourself to other people. I can kind of see, I see it happening with folks. Like, you can tell, when folks are frustrated, people have very interesting ways of throwing shade on social media or subbing or letting their frustrations be known. Please understand, your journey is yours. I know I've said this a bunch of times. Your journey is yours. Or sit with yourself and figure out what it is that's got you frustrated and comparing yourself to somebody else. And that ain't even got to be podcasts. Don't do that. You don't know what somebody did to get to where they are. You don't know what type of sleepless nights they had. You don't know what kind of tears they cried. You don't know what type of bad business decisions they made, how they bumped their head along the road. You don't know anything about somebody else's journey. And half the time, if you wanted what other folks had, you probably couldn't walk a mile in the shoes they had to strap up and climb them hills in. I think the biggest thing here is you have to be so committed to what it is you doing that you're willing to work your ass off to make it grow into whatever it's meant to grow into. But stop looking at what the fuck everybody else is doing, because you don't know their journey. You don't know their struggle. Hell, you don't know their calling. This goes back to y'all doing shit you ain't called to do. You do some stuff you ain't called to do, and now you mad that somebody else that's doing the exact same thing that was actually called to do it is succeeding in a way that you feel like you deserve to. Check your heart. If it's in you to do something, do it. I had a friend the other day. She hit me up. We played phone tag. Lord, I ain't really so much just been in my bag. I've been in my mental bag. Like, I just been getting all my time back. So I haven't had a lot of time for a lot of things, and some of that is being on the phone. But she was like, hey, I want to run some things by you. And I said this to her, and I'm going to say this to y'all. When you have an idea, and T-Pain, there was a video of T-Pain saying, artists should never go to other artists for advice. He talked about how so many people, well, not so many people, but 3 pretty big artists, one of them was Snoop, tried to talk him out of doing the things that inevitably made him successful. Everybody don't see your vision. And this is why so many people end up not carrying things through, because you let somebody who probably meant well, but they don't get it. But because you trust their opinion, you threw some ideas to them, you ran some shit by them, and they gave you a negative report, or they talked you out of it, or said it probably wasn't a good idea, or had you questioning yourself. So it's better for you to start a thing, get the flow going, get consistent with it, and then maybe reach out and ask for some advice on things that you already got going. If even then, you still don't need to. But any vision that you receive from God, the universe, or whoever, you ain't got to run that shit by nobody. You run that by you, and you execute. Now, in some other folks' cases, I think they do it for validation. Like, you want people to tell you, you know, that a boy, it's a good idea. Don't do that. Do not look to other folks for validation. You have to get to the point where you ride your nuts so much, what anybody else says is just extra. Put out your t-shirts, your food, your podcast, your show, whatever it is, with you feeling like, man, this is some dope ass shit. You need to think that before you even click upload. You need to really believe in yourself. And not a lot of people really believe in themselves. Some folks talk that talk, but yeah, you be playing small. You ain't got to do that. So in this season, I just really want us to just reflect on how you're growing as a person. Look at your journey as beautiful. Document the changes you see, because it's so good to look back on. When you run through another dark season or adversity, you can say, you know what? I made it through that, and I created something beautiful during that time, and I'm going to do it again. It's a part of the pruning process. I'm going to have to go through some shit to get to the next level. That's just what it is, and it's okay. I love documenting life. I don't know about y'all. I want to leave this earth with, I don't want to carry nothing with me. I want to be able to get it out there and not feel like I'm holding on to anything. So it was just more an encouraging word today. And hopefully, as the last episode, hey, chew the meat, spit out the bone, right? Chew the meat, spit out the motherfucking bone. I just want us to be encouraged as creatives and to understand you are art. It's not just you creating episodes and interviewing people. You are art. What you go through is art. It's something that can change lives. It's something that can bring joy. It's something that can provide cautionary tales. It's beautiful. That being said, whatever we are in right now, we're applicable. Wear your mask, wash your hands, socially distance. When you get a free moment, please remember to clean out your dirty bag. Till next time.
Well, darling, there's only one God.